We are here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trade Talks Live. I'm looking for notes, so Randy's going to tell y'all good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Hump Day. I am Henry Wakefield, a.k.a. Randy and Squirt. You're going to hear them all and then some more. We do want to welcome you to the Trade Talks, where we come on here every day and talk trades for an hour. We talk a bunch of different aspects, man. We break down websites. We talk national news, where's the work, MEP, social media, safety. We talk a little bit of everything about all the different trades. And we do want to thank Leak Pro for sponsoring today's episode of the Trade Talks. They manufacture the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And they build a couple different pieces of equipment. Got the probe and the sidekick for your indoor and your outdoor use. So definitely check out the complete kit at www.leak-pro.com. But also, if you don't know much about leak detection, I do a in-person training here just outside of Dallas, Texas. And if you want, give me a call, and I'd be happy to discuss it with you at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. And I'd be happy to talk to you about training or the equipment even. But yeah, happy Hump Day, man.
I'm here,
It's
guys.
Wednesday. It's busy. We run 90 to nothing around here all the time. Trying to get everything set up and good to go. There we are. How's it? He popped in to get the show rolling. Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. So, a little crooked, but, we're looking good. Good enough. So, on the national news, American Airlines approves expansion of JFK Airport Terminal 1. Guys, an airport expansion. $9.5 billion.
That is
That's a B.
huge. Billion.
That's a B. That ain't an M.
$9.5 billion. That's a big undertaking right there.
Man, is it?
Yeah, Project U.
Project
we
U.
got something doubled here.
Oh, I just copied and pasted.
Fine.
We looking good, though. Let me look at my email.
There we go. Okay, project underway. The
There you go.
the FAA has greenlit the long-awaited Terminal 1 expansion at JFK, marking a $9.5 billion infrastructure investment, the largest in JFK's history. Because it probably didn't even cost that much to build it originally.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I know you were.
I thought this cost millions to build. Now we're remodeling it for billions.
Yep, that's
But the scope is 2.4 million square feet. That's a lot of room, because we were on a 2 million square foot hospital
yes.
that was bigger than a lot of cities. I mean, it was.
Yeah, like more building and space than a lot of small cities around the country, guaranteed. 2 million square feet is a lot. 2.4 million is even more.
But here's the deal, guys. This expansion includes 23 gates, new baggage handling, and improved road access.
Yeah.
Guys, that's a lot of work. I mean, 23 gates, that's bigger than a lot. That's bigger than our local airport here in Dallas. That's bigger
it.
than Love Field.
That's it.
But the timeline, construction began in late 2022, with full completion not being for 5 more years, 2030.
Yep.
Partial gate openings start next year, 2026. And all the trades impacted, you've got structural steel, HVAC, electrical, the MEP coordination, you got plumbing, you got paving, you got roofing. You got everything. You're adding 23 gates.
Yes, and that's going to include everything. That's going to be restaurants. That's going to be bathrooms. That's going to be everything. Shops, stores, air conditioned, heat. It's going to have it all, guys. It's all going to be there. Tons of people will be involved in this expansion.
Okay, so if people want to get involved in that, if people want to be seen as a possible, hey,
Yeah.
you could do this.
You can do some work. Honestly, guys, there's some large federal and airport projects often require pre-qualification, guys. And that's the part that you really want to get ahead of. And you want to try to register with the Port Authority vendor list so that you're on that list, because that's going to confirm that you meet the bonding, the insurance, and the MBE, WBE criteria.
And that's minority in business and women in
I was going
business.
to say that's minority and
Minority and women. But here's the deal: you got to deal with the Port Authority. So does that mean the mob's involved?
Yes,
Okay.
definittle
Just
so.
checking. I'm just
don't they
asking.
control the air? I mean, no, I'm kidding here.
Yeah, we're kidding. we were joking.
We were
mob.
joking.
We were playing. We know y'all don't really exist. Not in Washington or Vegas or New York.
But like just to get in there and be on these lists, like we talk a lot of different things about the infrastructure upgrades and stuff. Well, guys, airports and things like this are the same thing. You've got to be on this list to be able to be an approved contractor to actually go out there and work. And it's going to take extra safety requirements and training and things like that to even be out on an airport facility.
And we've done it, or I've done that.
Yeah.
I had a sticker on my truck. I was allowed to drive back behind the airplanes.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I mean, we had tunnels and ramps and access and all kinds of piping done under there, but we literally installed like some 8 or 10 inch glycol lines around the entire outside of a building, or a terminal. And man, just to have that access, I mean, literally, I had escort badge and access on my truck. I could drive you in there just with your driver's license, and they'd be like, "Okay,
Yeah.
but you can't get out of my sight."
Right.
So it's
Correct.
like when you go in the bathroom stall, I'm standing there like, "Dude, will you hurry?"
Yep.
Oh, not quite that bad, but
I've heard
you
about
know.
the escort. Yeah.
Oh man,
'cause
they're serious about it.
Tons of guys that worked out there. Luckily, I kind of avoided the airport through
Yeah.
my whole apprenticeship, but I was still tied up very heavy in semiconductor at the time.
And I've spent about 5 years at TI, and then probably another 5 years at DFW Airport.
Yep.
That's a lot going on right there. Bottom line, we're going to run into the bottom line now.
Yeah.
So, really, the bottom line on that is, guys, if you're near JFK and you want work, talk to the Port Authority.
It's there.
And just say, hey, look, how do I get involved in this? Especially if you're MB or WB. Just saying. So, tracking ROI on marketing efforts and knowing when to cut them loose. And one of the big things in marketing, and you talk to a lot of companies, they're like, look, half of my marketing works. I just don't know what half.
That's right.
And it's scary because it's like, man, we're spending a lot of money. The phones are ringing, not to the full extent as we thought, but we're not sure what's making it ring.
And it's funny because I hear this at conferences even.
Oh, every day.
All the time. Like from so many different businesses, different backgrounds, not just construction. It's everywhere, guys. Half of it's working. I just don't know which half.
Yeah, which makes it tough. But in 2025, too many contractors are still guessing where their leads come from. Now, there's ways to track them, but you've got to track it right. So what you want to do is, and I hate saying this because this is one I was completely against, but use unique phone numbers for each platform. Facebook has a phone number. Google has a phone number. Postcards have a phone number. I know plumbing companies that do hundreds of millions of dollars in business. Let's say not hundreds, over 100 million. They're probably approaching 200 million. So they're getting there. But guys, they've got about 150 different phone numbers. And they can tell you every time a phone rings exactly where it came from. Now, you need to implement your UTM tracking for digital ads and tie them back to your CRM. Here's the thing, guys. Number one, if you don't have a CRM, go search Rogers Marketing Machine. You need a CRM and you need to start one immediately. This is going to help you with lead capture. It's going to help you with outbound. I mean, it's really nice not to have to run ads on Google, Facebook, anywhere. If you just send out an email every 3 weeks and just say, hey, man, just going to let you know, we've run into a problem here lately with water heaters because the price is going up. If you're thinking about replacing your water heater, think about it sooner than later. And just little things like that make a big difference. But you've got to know when to cut, because if a channel produces less than 3 times your ROI consistently over 90 days, you need to reassess that. The common dead weight, print directory ads. Now, look, I feel sorry for any yellow page salesman out there right now.
Yeah.
But print directory ads, it just doesn't work right. And boosted Facebook posts, there's rules to boost. You don't just say, you know what, man, we're going to sell a lot with this. Let's boost it. Guys, you might as well just send your money to me. I'll give you my address. Send it to. No, but seriously, just find me on Venmo or something and just send it to me.
Yep.
But Facebook posts,
Yeah.
those don't work. Not just boosting them. You can make posts and let them be organic and do pretty daggum good. We ran into the guy in Indianapolis come and said, oh my God, I made a video and it worked. It got us a call from my wife. They reached out to her at church, said, your husband's the plumber. It's crazy. But an HVAC contractor in Dallas dropped $1,200 a month on radio ads. After tracking, they found 0 booked jobs from it. And they reinvested into YouTube how-to content, bringing in 18 service calls in 30 days. Guys, all I can tell you is this stuff works. And I don't do it just on YouTube. We take what we do on YouTube, and I like YouTube because it's long form content, but then we can cut it, we can clip it, we can share it to Facebook, Instagram, Reels, TikTok, X,
LinkedIn, anywhere, like all the other socials, guys.
And I mean, some of them like this here, we do these long form videos on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and
LinkedIn, YouTube.
and it looks like we've got all our Facebook channels back up.
Yep.
So, it's getting out to more people. But guys, learning to do social media is something that you can control. Mm-hmm. So I do. I love that you've got that in there, and I love that you've got it in under the bottom line.
Yep.
Now, can you accurately track that ROI? It's impossible to track everything because some people say, "Oh, I just got your number from somewhere." Well, okay, they looked at it. They saw an ad somewhere and then they called.
I was gonna say, and if you do the phone number thing, guess what? That
That's
phone number thing
magic.
is just that's genius because I got your phone number from somebody. Oh, okay. Well, you called this line, so I at least know that was
know
from
exactly
my
where you got
Facebook
it from.
advertisements is where that came from. So
Now,
awesome.
You're doing Facebook ads now.
I am.
Are you using a different number?
No, I know.
You know better. Look, we're talking about it right here. You know better.
I learned about it within the last 12 hours.
Oh, so you'll be doing it tomorrow?
So
Maybe. Let's move on to safety before we kill each other. Top 5 fall protection violations in residential construction. Fall protection is still the most cited OSHA violation. Guys, slips, trips, and falls. Those are your big 3. If you can eliminate those, how we doing?
for Matt,
I know.
he said,
I know.
got stuff to do.
I know. Well, here, we'll jump in real quick. Brother, we do see
Yeah, real quick.
we've been running. Says Mr. Miyagi and Square, happy hump day. Hoping to have some 3D printed fittings to you next time you come
Yeah.
out. And I love that. Tell me about that Leak Pro. Man, that stuff is good stuff. Matt says, hey, gentlemen, I'm going to run out and put some things back in order. We have to do that very often. Like,
I've been
phone
doing that all
numbers.
morning.
I know. I love that. People keep breaking things. Boy, don't they?
Yeah.
No rest for the grease monkey. Happy hump day. Keep doing the amazing things you do. Matt, brother, good to see you in here. Thank you, so
too,
much.
brother.
Says, love you, bye. Ha ha. Wait, we get to give each other a hard time every now and then.
That's right.
All right. So back to
Safety.
OSHA. Slips, trips, and falls are the big deal. And guys, it's something that you need to look at and think about all the time, because if you can eliminate slips, trips, and falls, your office, your insurance looks 100% better. But fall protection is still the most cited, and especially in roofing and framing.
Yes.
Well, that's guys that are in unique areas.
That's it, and this is mainly for you residential installers and things like that, guys. But there's a lot of top violations that are going on that just keep repeating. And guys, guess what? If we keep doing the same things, nothing's ever going to change. So if we'll stop doing some of these violations, we'll all be a little safer. But like some of the top violations here, missing guardrails on decks and open perimeters.
Okay, wait. Before you even move on from that one,
I was going to say, this is huge.
everybody gets in trouble, y'all.
All the time. Like I did a lot of shaft work, okay? You have to have things there. If you are going to remove anything that's actually protecting anybody from falling, you got to have danger tape, you got to have everything, you got to be tied off, you got to have, there's all these rules that have to be done because there isn't, because you are taking away that rail.
Okay, but here's the thing too. If he's on the shaft in the middle of the floor Before he walks up to that shaft, he has to look around the perimeter of the floor, even though he's not there.
Yep.
I'm 100 feet from it. It don't matter. You're on the floor and the perimeter's not protected. You get the fine.
That's it. If you're on that floor and there's a 3-inch core hole, okay, just
It's not covered.
Not residential, guys. I know and I understand here.
But we're
I
talking,
worked a lot of
you're on the
commercial.
second floor and you had
But
to core
that's
a
it.
hole. Okay.
There's a 3-inch hole. If there's no cover there, you're getting fined because you were near it.
And it doesn't matter if you're the guy who made the hole. It doesn't matter if you're the laborer up there sweeping the floor to clean it.
Yep.
We're all responsible.
That's it.
So also inadequate or unanchored harness tie-off points. And guys, I've seen people wear harnesses and just literally take the end of it and lay it in the,
lay it on
in
the
a
ground.
lift or
Yep.
something, or lay it on the ground. And they're like, well, I'm wearing it. Okay. We'll bury you in it.
Yeah, that's it. Your anchor point has to be rated for 5,000 pounds, okay? Whether that's something that you screw in and it's got 12 screws in it that's holding. There's so many different types of tie-off, especially for you residential guys, because there's so much wood around. Use the right thing to actually tie off. It's not too big of a deal.
Absolutely. And I just want to give a shout out to Randy Jackson. Good to see you, brother. Hope everything's going well. Can you not find me? Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? Oh, I need to hit
That's
that
rolling.
too. Oh,
I
it is?
already had it. Yep,
Okay,
I did
okay,
it earlier.
okay, okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Also, improper ladder angle or
You've never seen that
unsecured
on a job,
ladders.
have you?
Never, ever. I mean, it's so easy. You know, you put your toes on the bottom, you reach your arms out, and you got the ladder in
There's
your
your
hands, and there's your angle, and it's set. Like, I've never seen it.
I've never
Wrong
seen anybody
on
not do
any
it.
job.
I've seen people lean ladders like this and try and walk up
45s,
them. And,
oh, yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
Or have them that straight up, and they're like, well, you know, I don't have room to move it and don't do this. Okay, then look at something else.
Or the one where it's an A-frame sitting over a stairwell, and somebody else is just holding it like one-handed, like, yeah, I got you, bro.
Oh, yeah,
Go
we've
for it.
seen that.
You're good.
Yeah, go for this. I got you. The next big one is misuse of scaffolding without planking or toe boards. Guys, scaffolding is just about like the floor.
Yeah.
You've got to have your toe boards around it where you can't step off, slide off. Your planking has to be so far apart.
Yep.
And then another big one that gets people killed. No written fall protection plan on site.
Yep. Yeah, you can't just have this idea. It's got to be written. It's got to be this system,
It's
this
like, well,
process
our
that
team
everybody
knows.
is applying to.
Our team knows.
That's it, guys. And with OSHA, you know, you've got to have your OSHA safety posters mounted and accessible for all your employees. This is kind of the same difference here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
A great field tip, though, use retractable lanyards.
God,
you
I
know, the
remember when
yo-yo
those came
style.
out.
Oh, I
Oh, my
love
gosh.
them.
Yeah.
Instead of fixed length for better flexibility and compliance in multi-level framing. So if you're up and down and over, that yo-yo is so nice because it's going to automatically adjust to wherever you're actually at.
You know what we need to do when we get the event center built? You know, we're trying to do the open rafters, raised part, and all that. Get out there with lanyards and yo-yos and jump and let it catch you, and just see, because I mean, it works.
Well, I wouldn't want to do that to our new building. I'll build us a spot to
You
do
think
that.
you think my big butt's gonna bow the middle of the barn? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
This is not gonna be a good day, y'all.
Stat here. OSHA fined over $16.7 million for fall protection failures in 2024 alone.
I want to work for OSHA. I want to own OSHA. They're making money.
Yeah.
Just
How,
saying.
how do I get it to where I can go just find people like
Yeah,
for doing wrong thing? You know, it's like
you're protecting
opening your
lives.
own city and then
making
starting
money.
your own police station so that you can
Ain't nothing
give
wrong
speeding
with that.
tickets.
Ain't
You
nothing
know,
wrong with
like
that.
it's
I
out
kind
there.
of like that. You know, Mark Cuban bought a town down around Austin one time, I think.
Shoot, yeah.
All right, we're going to roll into new construction. Final inspection fails.
Yep.
And top red flags that GCs are still missing, even seizing builders trip up on final inspections. Guys, if you've got a good final inspector, don't hate him. I mean, some of these guys are like, this guy just comes in and it's like, okay. And I remember I had a plumbing inspector, not a final, and we're doing a water test. And he literally picks up a 2x4 and just starts hitting the ceiling, hitting your pipe, banging your pipes around. And you're like, dude, what the heck are you doing? He said, I'm trying to knock it apart. I said, why would you do that? He said, because if you missed a solder joint, I'll be able to knock it apart. He said, they turn green and sometimes they'll seal up and they'll pass a test.
Yep.
And I thought he was nuts. I went out to a service job one time to replace a hose bib that was leaking. And I literally, I know y'all won't believe this. I grabbed the hose bib because I'm going to undo the packing nut on top to alleviate the water, let me blow down in it and unsolder it. When I grab hold of it and twist, my wrench slipped and the whole hose bib, the whole not a frost bib, the hose bib, the boiler drain rotated. And I'm like, what the heck? And I grab it, pull it off. It was fluxed, never soldered, and it stayed there 20-something years.
Yep. I've seen them.
Crazy.
Like, it freaked me out crawling around in a wreck one time, and I found one, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. It's
Very
like, that's
carefully get down. Hey, boss, we have something that needs to be addressed
Shut the
over
water
here.
off quick.
Like,
Okay, so common fail points. No insulation on draft stopping on attic scuttle openings. Okay. Draft stop, insulation. Think about it.
there's a big one.
Water heater pan drains, disconnected or pitched uphill.
Yep.
Do y'all know water runs downhill? We should do a test about that just to see if that's really true.
We should, like, put a video out or something, maybe.
You know, we could do that. Missing air gaps or no high loop vent on the dishwasher. It's not a vent, but no high loop on the dishwasher drain. And that's one that, look, a lot of plumbers don't like putting. They're like, it's in there, it's fine. Non-GFCI outlets in garages. And I got to tell you, it's not just the garage, it's the front porch and the back porch. But one thing you don't want to do is plug your refrigerator into a GFCI outlet in the garage that also goes to like the front porch or back porch or something. I had the smoker going out back. And anyway, it and the refrigerator must have fired up at the same time.
Overloaded that, baby.
And overloaded it, and it kicked off. And I finally moved the outlet for the smoker to plug it inside indoors.
Yeah.
Didn't go reset it, didn't think about it. Lost a lot of food in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
But those are big. But in garages, exterior walls are near sinks.
One that makes me mad. Painting over or inaccessible shut-off valves. How many times do you go to that valve that you can't turn because they done painted it and locked it up? So you got to sit there and get the paint off to where you can actually use that valve.
And I like this idea right here because you can do a mock inspection and have a mock inspection checklist and walk your site with a third-party quality control person. And I look, that's probably how I grew in the union because I got into quality control. And I remember when Ronnie sent me out to Radio Shack, he said, look, I'm going to tell you now, they're not going to like you.
Yep.
It's like, okay. And I remember pissing Nate Smith off one day. I walked in his building and did an inspection, and he had leaks, and because the general contractor, Beck, said, hey, you need to get a quality control person out here because we're coming in to do inspections on y'all's work before the city, and you're not passing. And we're tired of you wasting our time.
Oh, yeah.
So Ronnie called me and said, hey, man, I got a job for you, but you're not going to like it. That's when we went and had breakfast. And I'm like, I can't go to work for you at this price.
Yep.
But anyway, I ended up going to work for him at my price. Went over there, and the first time I did an inspection, we were in the walk. I'm going to call it a crawl space, but you could stand up and walk under the buildings. And we're doing an inspection, and I walk through, and I'm making a list, and the guy's walking through with me, and I'm making a list, and walking through with me, and I'm making a list. Finally, I get down there, and I said, you need to fix all these things right here. And I give it to him. He said, what code do you want me to charge this to? Because everything we did was charged to code.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I said, charge it to the same code you put the stuff in wrong on.
That's right.
And he was not happy. I'm like, I don't care if you're happy. I said, call Ronnie Schreiber. He's going to tell you, do exactly what I tell you to do.
Do me a
solid.
solid.
He was livid.
Tell your PM to make you a code that says we jacked up and
Yeah.
then start charging it to that one,
Yeah,
baby,
then
so
we
we
can
can track it all.
Then we can track it. Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
But use that mock-up checklist. Walk it with QC person. Give yourself a few days. Don't do it like right before the inspector's coming. Because, I mean, everything I found there probably took them 3 or 4 days to fix.
I was gonna say.
But then catch it before the general contractor does and catch it before your city inspector does.
Yep.
All right, mindset growth. And this is always one of my favorite. But mindset growth without burnout. How to pace yourself as a business owner. Now, we're going to talk as a business owner here, but if you're a foreman, if you're a superintendent, if you're a project manager, you're a director of operations, these can lead to burnout too.
Yep.
So it's tempting to scale fast, either your job site or your company. But if you're working 80 hours a week, God, guys, the cost to you is it's not worth it. But the warning signs, and you're really good about knowing when you're like, look, this is my point.
Yep.
You've reached it a few times. You're like, I know how long it takes. But when you think you're the only one that knows how to do anything, you're not. And I like the way you said something the other day. If you ask me to do something because you don't have time to do it and you're clearing your schedule so you can do more things, even if I get it 80% right,
Yep.
it's going to take you a little bit of time to fix that last 20% and get it right than to redo everything or to do everything.
Yep.
And how long has it been since you've had a vacation? Because if you hadn't had one in a few years, and you know, it's funny because I call mine and your trip sometimes a vacation because we'll spend another day or two. It's not much, but normally when we go work, when we go to classes, when we go to training, we'll have one day to download. Okay, what was your biggest takeaway? What should we implement? What should we do? And then another day just to say, hey, I'm sleeping late tomorrow. Don't bother me. Here we go. But when revenue's up and profits are down and the pace is down, you got to fix things. And you fix the pacing tactics by hiring part-time admins or virtual help to offload quoting, calls, or ordering.
Yep.
And guys, sometimes bringing in that part-time VA can lead to a full-time position because you get them in, teach them the way things you want it done, and it can work. Then you want to cap your monthly job volume until your key roles are filled. Yep. And I remember talking to one of the big plumbing companies here in town, and they said that no person is allowed to manage more than 5 people. It's 5 or 6. And they said, look, we could literally tell profit started going down when they started trying to manage more because they're taking on too much.
Yep.
So I love that. But you want to build in your strategy days once a month where no field work is scheduled. That way it gives you time to sit and look at things and check and see what do we need to work on. But then remember, you can't lead long-term if you're burning the candle at both ends.
Yep.
And guys, doing stuff like that is just, it's not a good way to do it. I know we want to make more money, so we take on more. But sometimes it's best to just say, look, I'd rather not take on more and make less profit. I'd rather do less work and make higher profit margins.
That's it. And if you strive to put out the top quality work, it's easier to do less work and get that higher profit too.
Well, and it's like, do you want to help 1,000 people making $500 each, or help 500 people making 1,000 each? And you, if you're doing less, you can handpick the things you do. It does. It helps.
That's it.
Let's talk about Leak Pro.
I'm Henry Wakefield, CEO of Leak Pro. I build the equipment, but we manufacture the most precise leak detection equipment out there for professional plumbers. And what I do, the main one I do is the complete kit. That comes with both pieces of equipment. I build a probe, which is T-handle style with a stainless steel rod. That's real durable for your outdoor use, kind of that meter to the home service or irrigation lines, things like that. But also there's the Sidekick, and it's the pistol grip style. It's got an aluminum rod on it. That aluminum rod, it's a less dense metal, and that's what kind of makes everything scream a little bit louder. And that's what eliminates that layer of concrete. Whenever you step inside, you're listening to the valves going through a slab, driveways, sidewalks, any of that stuff. You'll want to be using that Sidekick. And the great thing, it's user-friendly. It's the equipment, push-button activation, one adjustment on the whole thing, and that's a volume knob. We all know how to deal with that. If you want to check out our equipment, you can visit www.leak-pro.com. But also, if you don't know anything about leak detection, you can come out. I do a 2-day in-person training here just outside of Dallas, Texas. I'll teach you how to locate lines. I've got 11 leaks under a thick slab to train you on how to pinpoint locate those hard-to-hear leaks. I've got one just outside of the slab so that you know what an underground leak sounds like also. But beyond that, guys, I've got a couple of sewer systems set up. I've got a cast iron and a PVC system where I teach you to go outside of a home at the double clean out. And from there, you can actually isolate all the branch lines from that main to determine exactly where a sewer line is leaking. So you don't have to just replace the whole system. It's like, look, you've got a bad branch over here. We couldn't see anything on the camera, but we know it's leaking because we tested it this way. And if you want to talk about that training, man, give me a call at 1-8888-LEAK-PRO, and I'd be happy to talk about how you can add this to your list of services and add leak detection to your arsenal, because it's a great thing to have. That way you're not waiting 6 weeks for some other company to come out and locate a leak for you.
And this is a whole new way to grow your bottom line. It really is. It's phenomenal. All right, so we're going to roll over into all trades and respecting the sequence. And why do trades still fight over job site timing? We do it because we can.
I got to get in there first.
I know. I need there first because I want to beat you. But sequencing problems lead to delays, damage, and redo work.
Yeah.
And guys, nobody likes that. But the typical clashes, electricians trimming out while the paint is still wet.
I can just remember
I've
hearing
seen
that
them
on a
do
job
that.
site, Sparky, going, what? The painter's in here. I can't do nothing.
I'm going to work anyway. Yeah. And then HVAC teams cutting duct after the insulation install.
Happens all the time, I hate to say.
Does. Framers cutting in after the plumbers stub up. Look, we used to want to get there as quick as we can, but I did love having the framers there first. Mm-hmm. That way, it's easy for me to, and a lot of the framers, I could say, hey, I need a 2-inch hole here, I need a gap here, I need this. You work with them, especially with the little robots that you got now.
Yeah.
Hey, that shows them right where I got something coming up, they'll know what to do. Mm-hmm. But your solution, use a shared digital Gantt chart with time blocked out. If you'll do that, block it out by phases and confirm each trade signs off after rough-in, but not just rough-in, after inspection.
Yeah.
Okay? Include buffer days for the inspections because you want to make sure everything gets signed off. We used to have a wall sign off because, man, when I was on a job, and I think it was out at the airport, the drywallers would come cover up a wall. It's like, well, that's stupid, guys. I got stuff in there. It's like, well, it's on the schedule. Yeah, I understand, but it got bumped because of the framers. Did y'all go in and look at your notes? Y'all were in the meeting where we talked about it. So, yeah, they didn't like me very much. But be smart about it. The first one in gets blamed. The last one out gets sued.
Yeah.
Get sign-offs after each trade. Because if you'll do that, after each trade finishes, it will protect the crew. It'll protect the job. It'll protect the schedule. It does. It's just, guys, it's communication. And that's really all that it is.
That's it. And like, guys, a job site, it's a machine. It's a watch. Every single clog has to be working the right way for it all to actually give the right thing out. We all have to get in there and work. So don't fight too hard over being first because, hey, if you're first, you're going to get blamed. But don't be last either, okay? All you Division 10 finish out guys, I feel bad for you because I know that y'all are always last.
The very last one was on the job. We get it. All right. Now, before we roll into laws and licenses, guys, remember, if you've already hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Mm-hmm. That way you get notified when we go live. We go live at 10 o'clock every Monday through Friday Central Standard Time, as long as it's not a national holiday or we want to make up our own holiday.
Yeah.
Randy got all excited because Easter's on 4/20.
That's right.
It's a Sunday, though, so he doesn't get off.
Sunday.
Well, I guess he might get off. Laws and licenses. Reciprocity updates in southeastern states. So Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. And we know that there's been a lot going on down there. Even in Texas, we're looking at reciprocity with the
Louisiana,
more states
Oklahoma,
around us.
we're trying to expand.
Not Oklahoma, but right now Louisiana and Arkansas are good. We're working on Oklahoma.
I was going to say,
right.
we're in the process of trying to work with Oklahoma.
And TikTok, Instagram, if y'all hadn't done it yet, jump over to YouTube, search the Trade Talks live, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified too. So what's changing? Florida is working with Georgia. And Florida and Georgia don't like each other. I'm just going to throw that out there.
And South Carolina.
And then you throw in South Carolina to expand the license reciprocity for electricians and plumbers. That's big news, y'all. That really is.
It is.
If passed, it'll allow licensed contractors in one state to apply for a streamlined certification in the other two. If I'm in one of those states, I'm getting it just to say I got it
Instantly, as quick as you can, because That's like having another license in both of those other states. It's all that's going to do is create opportunities. But the best thing is if you've already got it, when that opportunity arises,
You just
can
jump and run.
That's it.
So what you need to do is you need a clean license history. You need active bond or insurance, however your state's set up, and matching experience requirements. Now that's the big part to remember because, Texas, guys that come to Texas from California are like, well, I'm a plumber because the company owner said I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
Well, if you can document all your hours, Texas will say, okay, we understand that, but you're still going to have to take the test. And I remember hiring a plumber from California and set him up for we got him his apprentice card real quick, set him up for the tradesman exam, and he failed it 3 times. Yep. So just because you don't have the right hours and the right experience doesn't mean you deserve a license. And why does this matter? Well, this is great for contractors operating across the borders or chasing storm recovery, military-based projects, anything like that. Yep. But natural disasters, storms, floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever you get where you're at, it happens. And, that's why I'll get on my pedestal for a minute about a national certification. I think it's
where I was headed.
I think it's something we need for plumbing, electrical, and HVAC.
Yeah.
Especially HVAC and electrical. I don't think it's a whole lot different anywhere.
That's it. Like, yeah, temperatures change. Guess what? Okay, so that's going to change the system slightly. Not a major difference. It's like I'm always saying, pipe's pipe. Yeah, it all connects different. But guess what, guys? Duck's duck too. It's round,
Duck?
it's square, it's oval. I've seen them all the different sizes. There's not going to be drastic changes, and I'm just glad to see that the reciprocity is on the rise across our nation, and hopefully it's going to end up leaning more towards a national certification.
That would make my day.
In all these, because. And the major thing here, guys, is it's in the disasters. Okay, whenever something bad comes through, this tornado, this hurricane, fires, all of this stuff. Whenever something bad happens, don't we want more people, more Americans out there to be able to come and help us, even if they're in another state? I mean, I'm a Texan, proud Texan, but guess what? I'd like to go help Louisiana, Oklahoma, all my neighboring states. I probably wouldn't go over to New Mexico just because I'm on the east side of Texas and it's just way too big.
A long way over there. Yeah. I drove to El Paso.
I've done it many times. It's a pretty brutal drive. It's like 8 hours.
And then drove back, and it was shorter to go to San Antonio. I started just go to San Antonio and say, "Look, I'll spend the night down there and then come back home." Yeah, get back to Texas a little quicker, but that's it. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll into business training. And Squirt, if you want to pull this up over here, you can. But business training, how to train office staff on construction scheduling. Now, I love this because, admin staff don't need to know how to install pipe, how to lay pipe, how to install a toilet or water heater or anything like that. But they have to understand the crew sequencing and lead times. They have to understand how long it takes to do things, how long we need people on jobs. You can't send a plumber to a house to do a tankless water heater and think he's only going to be there for an hour. I'm going to go ahead and schedule him 3 more jobs. It doesn't work that way. But some training tips there are start with visual job timelines, color-coded calendars with dependencies. So you've got to understand you've got to understand the technician you're going to send out. How good are they? Are they quicker than the other people? Does it take them a little bit longer because they're not quite as experienced? And it really doesn't matter if you're on an upfront pricing job because they're paying to get the work done, not how many hours the technician is there. But you need to teach them material order timing. They need to know that like windows may take 3 weeks, cabinets may take 6 weeks, countertops, marble, slate, something like that. You better have ordered before you start the job because things like that can kill you. But you want to use role play for rescheduling subs or informing clients of delays. Now, a good way you can do this too is just do a mystery caller. Oh, yeah. Get a phone from a friend, say, hey man, I want to call my office and talk to them and call in. We used to do that when I was in one of the best practice groups. We'd go around the table and each person would call the other person's office and listen to them. How did they talk to us? Hey, but I'm needy. I need you to explain this to me. Or hey, can I talk to the owner? Or hey, I need to talk to the plumber. How do they handle that? But role playing for anything you do in your company is great because that's going to help your team handle it in a real world situation.
I do that to all my family whenever I call them. Any of the plumbers that I call, and I act like just this grouchy customer calling to, yeah, this plumber just left my house. It's a disaster in here. And I'll just play some role and have fun with it from it just to see how they respond. And then I start laughing at them, and they're like, "Yeah, I figured it was probably you."
I like this. One remodeling company cut missed delivery windows by 60% after training the office staff to use a mock build-out calendar as part of the onboarding. So once you get a job, you look at it. It's like, okay, what we used to call it a pull plan. The job's got to be complete by this date. Well, what's the last thing we've got to do before the job's complete? Demobilization. Okay, what do we have to do before we can demobilize? We've got to get our final inspections. And you look at how long everything takes, and you start building it out backwards. And I'm telling you, things like that really do work.
We had to teach people in estimating all the time, kind of those new people coming in that have never been on a job site ever before in their life. It's like, well, how long is the job supposed to take? Well, you need to kind of look at the schedule, see how long we need to be on site. Then we're going to do takeoffs on all these systems and figure out the man hours it's going to take. Well, then we feed that man hours into that schedules and kind of figure out how long are we actually going to have men on the job.
And how many men do we need?
Versus, that's right. And how many do we need? Because that's going to let us know, okay, how many connexes do we need? How much storage space? How many boxes? How many lifts? Things like that. What type of personnel do we have? And you got to account for all that. But to teach that schedule to the people in the office, it's like, look, all these numbers can feed back into it to help you ideate that schedule and be able to do it the way you were saying, like the pool plan. I like that. Hey, here's all the steps that we got to do at the beginning, at the end. And they have to understand that because not everything's in that estimate of the material takeoff, because you're going to have some mobilizations, demobilizations that is not accounted for anywhere in any actual takeoffs.
And guys, all you're trying to do is train your staff so they understand how to help the field be more proficient.
Yep.
And I always go back to the problem we ran into at E Squared. If you've got people sitting in front of a computer that can help the people in the field be faster, your field labor is 20%, your office labor is 10%. They can knock something out and if me and Randy are sitting here waiting on a 12-inch carbon steel 90, well, you're losing a lot of money. But if that office person knows, hey, they should be up to here, we need these materials and we need to order them in advance, anything that's a delay, they could have at least let us know, hey, you're not going to get that 12-inch carbon steel 90.
Set up on something else.
Yeah, move over to another section. We'll jump back to that when it comes in. Yeah. By the time you realize it in the field, it's like it's costing you money because it's costing you labor. So we're going to roll into vehicles. Randy, talk about GPS and dash cams, because that's a little different.
I tell you what, so GPS and dash cams, if you have these on your commercial vehicles, you can really get some insurance benefits that you're probably missing out on right now. And you're going to have to talk to your insurance provider, but there's some that are offering policy discounts up to 20% if the vehicles are equipped with GPS tracking, because this is going to reduce mileage and theft risk. Dash cams with driver-facing and road-facing views.
Man, those are good.
Okay, this will help prevent false claims about anything. You can prove I wasn't on a phone.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing. Oh, they were on a phone. No, I wasn't. Look, I got proof. Also, telematic reports for hard braking, acceleration, idle time. Yeah, that's kind of what made me want to move out of a commercial vehicle.
Yeah, and you talk about hard braking. So yeah, if you pull up 60 miles an hour and then slam on the brakes, it knows that.
Yep.
Acceleration, the quick takeoffs. Mine was also speed because it knew the speed limits.
Yep.
And it'd be like, Roger, as long as we didn't drive over 10 miles an hour for an average, They were good with that because they're like, we want you to get there quick. We understand that.
The one I don't like here for all you service people in Texas, come summertime, the idle time. Okay, like, what do you do when you finish up a job? You go out there and you start filling out the paperwork, the invoice. Now, yeah, it's probably on an iPad or something now, but you crank up that van and get the AC rolling because it's summer heat. You've been working. So I don't really like the idle time thing. And I'm sure you can probably work with the insurance company on that and kind of explain, I hope.
You probably could, but also if it's on an iPad, why not just do it in there? I like doing it in the house. Like if I was working in a bathroom, I wanted to do it in the bathroom because it makes sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, we changed this, we did this, we did this. And while I'm doing that, the apprentice can start loading the tools, getting everything loaded up. And I can literally sit right there, fill out the entire invoice, and then go in there and show it to them, say, hey, here's what all we did. It's not me going out my truck. Because when you go out in your truck and you're sitting there working, they think, they're just out there trying to see how they can jack me over.
Well, no, so here's what takes me back to that thought was you used to do it back whenever I was actually cleaning up, getting the tools out and stuff, you would head to the van to fill out the paperwork. And with that situation is where it's just kind of a standard thing for the most part because, yeah.
But I like this because a plumbing company in North Carolina reduced premiums by $4,800 a year after installing Samsara trackers across 6 vans. 6 vans, $4,800, $800 a year. Not bad. All right, we're going to roll into social media just a little bit early because we're talking about one of my buddies.
You know, I changed it up here a little bit today, guys. I know Wednesday is normally our roofers, and we normally end up talking about
roofers
Dimitri,
and contractors because he does a little bit of everything.
Like that's what I had to find a spot, man, to get my DIY guys to fit in because, guys, I know that they're not professional contractors, but guess what, guys? Most of them actually are like very skilled contractors. Okay, they're not licensed. Sure, they teach DIYers how to do it.
And his channel is massive.
But today, pulled in a friend of ours that we met from Canada. Home Renovision DIY.
Mr. Jeff Thurman. So while not a pro contractor, this channel delivers high-quality walkthroughs that bridge the gap between DIYers and pros. And why does what he do, or why does what he does really matter? Because he educates homeowners on what a correct install looks like. Now, I love watching him. I really do. I remember one that he did where the siding, he said, look, it wasn't put on right. We need to do this. We need to do this. And we're like, yeah, but you know, we had somebody already do all that. I said, yeah, but it wasn't done right. And he used the FLIR, the moisture content and all this, which we need to order a charging cord. But what once he started pulling it off, you could tell it was starting to rot the wood underneath. You've got the mouse, so you're good.
Real quick, editors, I so need a squirrel that we can pop up as an overlay somewhere. I would love that.
Colton, Alex is talking to y'all. But what this does is it builds trust in the skilled trades. And look, I trust him. I know he knows what he's talking about. I know he's good at it. I think he's great at what he does. But this offers a unique way for pros to see what their clients are watching. And that's good stuff. What's your favorite on here?
Man, honestly, okay, so here, I want to pull up one of his lives he was doing. I was watching this the other day. This was on. He did a live, and it's free drywall repair masterclass. He's going around the room, knocking holes in the wall and patching them.
Oh, he did that here. We brought him in here, and we're like, hey, we're looking at something back here. We're not sure what we want to do. And he literally just takes a sledgehammer and starts tearing the wall. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He said, well, we need to know what's in there.
That's it.
I said, well, I'm not ready now. He said, well, now you know.
He goes through this masterclass for 2 hours. He did a live stream. He would use every different type of technique to patch a hole in a wall. Big holes, small holes, all sorts of different things. And it's just like, holy cow, because, I mean, how many holes have you knocked in your wall? I've accidentally knocked a few in mine. It happens. But this is
and that was 2 hours.
Stuff.
Look at the one next to it.
Yes.
Framing my house one room at a time.
Yep.
3 hours and 40 minutes.
That's it. and he's going to go through here, talk about the different front. I actually think I actually watched some of this one back whenever it was live, because I remember this stairwell, this landing here. He's talking about the safeties of it. And that's the thing that I enjoy. He's very thorough in his descriptions on how to do things. Did you do this one yet? Yeah, you did this another day.
Uh-huh.
I was curious.
Yeah.
He teaches some plumbing, roofing. He does a little bit of everything, guys. And that's one of my favorites about trying to get some of these DIY guys in here, because there's so many things to learn.
They're so versatile.
That's it. They cover a broad range of things. And if you want to do some work on your house, things like that, learn some different trades. There's some different tricks and stuff here that you can are actually very beneficial. And it doesn't just play into the trade he's teaching. Some of these tips and techniques play into other trades and fields also. So you can learn a lot from these guys.
And I love some of his series. He does like the basement waterproofing, which is popular if you've got a basement. Full bathroom renovations, tub to shower swaps, which are very popular. Vanity installs. And then electrical basics from a safety first point of view. And, look, Randy and I talk about safety all the time. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff does too. And it really is good, because a good thing is, if you want to do some videos, react to or reference viral home renovation clips in your own content. It builds credibility while correcting misinformation. And I love when he talks about stuff that it's like, well, we saw the one 90% of toilets are installed wrong.
Yep.
And it's like, you know what? Let's go through here and look at it. And he's talking about the flange height. And he was right. So many people don't do it right. I've seen plumbers that don't even do it right. They'll go into a house, lay it right on the concrete. Then by the time they build up the tile, the flange is down below it. And it's like, guys, that's not the right way to do it. So I love watching what he does and seeing what he does. But the cool thing about it, I mean, look at him. He's sitting here in a chef's cap or a chef's hat. Okay, he's working in the kitchen.
Yep.
Pretty
Kitchen
neat
renovations for $3K versus $15K. He's got a bunch of those going right now. Bathroom renovation for $3K. He did a shed build for $3K instead of $15K. There's been a lot of these here lately, and time saving hacks, guys. So many different things out there to learn.
Can you build an event center for $3K?
All these different social media? Man, no, but I bet Jeff could.
Jeff, probably can. Jeff, we need you down here, brother. I'm just saying.
I got $3K sitting around, and I want to build an event center. What can we do?
I know. Not a bad thing to do.
But guys, it does decking, a little bit of everything. Super painter. Like, you want to talk about paints, coats, different things like that. He's got some great things in here. Comparing different paints on prices, things like that. Just, there is such a great variety here. And that's why I wanted to kind of change up what we do on a normal, because I want to bring some of this to light too, because there's tons of things here to learn.
You bet. And we're working on that stuff today. I think I got Schluter coming in today.
Yeah.
We're always looking at different things that we can do and talk about and have fun with. But it's really neat. Jeff came to Vid Summit a couple of years ago. Got to hang out with him. Him and his wife came in. We did a podcast. Then went over there, or I guess we were over there first. But man, just hanging out with people like that. And I remember, it's funny, the first time I met him in person, I'm actually at KBiz.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to Odie, and I'm sitting there having a conversation. This guy comes and just bumps into me real hard. And I'm thinking, man, I'm busy. I turn around, I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? He says, just hanging out, just like you. So I'm like, okay, do I talk to him or do I talk to them?
Right,
so
yeah.
we ended up talking for a little while. It was really good, though, a lot of fun. So, Randy, let's talk. How do I actually measure ROI on marketing efforts? And I know we talked about that earlier, but there's a way to do it. There's different ways to do it. You've always got to ask people where they heard about you, where'd the call come from, how'd you hear about us, whatever it is. But there's other ways to do that.
There is. You can use a simple cost to lead to sale funnel. And this is going to track how much each campaign cost, Facebook ads, truck wrap, door hangers, whatever. And you're going to track how many calls or form fill outs you get from that. And you can use call tracking numbers, like we were talking about earlier, or UTM links.
What's that? Unique tracking
Unique
metrics
tracking
or something
metrics,
like
something like that. To track, you can also track how many of those converted into actual jobs.
That's where the ROI, the revenue, comes from.
That's it.
And I like your formula there.
Revenue minus the marketing cost divided by the marketing cost. Example here. Let's say you spent $1,000 on Google Ads. You got 10 calls. You booked 6 jobs worth $6,500 total. Okay, so your ROI is going to equal the $6,500 minus the 1,000.
So 5,500
divided by the 1,000, which is going to equal 5.5 times the return, or 550%. Okay,
I like that. And that's a good formula.
it is.
Okay, go through that formula again. Go through it just like you did, because I think that's something for a lot of people, it's worth writing that down.
Okay, so like you spent $1,000 on Google Ads.
Okay.
You got 10 calls, and you booked 6 jobs from those 10 calls worth $6,500 total.
All right.
So that's going to make your ROI equal 6,500 minus the 1,000
Okay.
divided by 1,000, which is going to be 5.5 times the return, or 550%.
And look, if you're making 550% on your investment, you're doing good. Not a bad gig.
Also, another good tip here: if a campaign can't be tracked, it's not scalable. Use call tracking, like CallRail or Lead Connector. That's to be able to track things like this, and that's one of the best ways. Go check out Rogers Marketing Machine. That's how.
Rogers Marketing Machine. Hello. No, that's good. I do. I like that.
It's a good way to go about it, and you really do want to track it. It's very important.
So, guys, this show is sponsored by Leak Pro, and Leak Pro is the most precise leak detection system for professional plumbers. And when I say that, I've had all the equipment. I was literally somebody came in the other day and they were talking about that orange brand that we always see at the shows, and they're like, "Look, I didn't like it. There's too many adjustments, too many knobs, too many switches, and I just want to turn it on and find the leak." It's like, that's why I like Leak Pro. But Leak Pro is the most precise. It doesn't give you a big area and say, okay, it's in here somewhere. You put that pinpoint down until you're like, this is where it is. And man, when we train people, they're normally within 6 inches. And if you're making a 2-foot hole, you're within 6 inches, you're nailed it. So my favorite thing about it, though, is you've got the Sidekick, which is great for inside. It's not bulky. It doesn't look like it was built in the 1960s, where you got a big jet pack on your body and wires going to your head and wires going to the probe, and you're bending down trying not to bang up people's furniture and cabinets. It's easy. You've got the headset. You've got a volume knob on it, and that plugs into the Sidekick, and there's a trigger to make the sound on, make the sound off. It's easy. It keeps you from damaging your ears. And then you've got the probe. The probe is great for outside stainless steel rod. So when you go stick that thing down in the ground, you can hear what's going on. And I can't tell you how many leaks I've found with just those 2 pieces of equipment. We've got it packaged in the complete kit. You get the Sidekick, the probe, and 2 headphones. And you also get a remote sensor to control your air compressor. And that makes it a one-man job. If you're interested in checking out the Sidekick, if you're interested in growing your business, if you're interested in making more money this year, go to www.leak-pro.com. And if you want to get trained on how to do this, if you don't know how to use leak detection equipment and you really want to buy a business in a box or a whole new revenue source, guess where to call it? 1-8888-LEAK-PRO. You'll be happy you did.
That's it. Yeah.
Another great day.
That's it.
I love
Hump day.
doing what we get to do. It is. It's hump day. Used to remember Dirk Nowitzki. Hump day.
Hump day.
What day is it? What day is it? And they had the camel in the office
Love
and
that
all
commercial.
that. Yeah, pretty neat stuff. Guys, I just want to say thank y'all very much. I got to line my
Little
dog
goat?
up. Line my dog up or whatever it is.
All right.
Didn't do it right
that's
anyway. Got to
funky.
line it up again.
A little different. Oh, look at them doggies.
Put the head on top. So anyway, we get to do this every day because of y'all. Those of y'all that come in each day and hang around, God, man, we appreciate it. Please share this with other people that you know in the trades that this could help them. And if you really enjoy this, after you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. Make sure that you get notified every day when we go live at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. And if you're new here, come back again. We'd love to have you back. I'm Roger Wakefield. Whatever you do out there today, do it safe.
Everybody, happy hump day. It's all downhill from here. I'm Henry Wakefield. I hope to see you back in here tomorrow. Get out there and hit it effing hard. Bye, guys.
Thank y'all.